думаете о положении, о сегодняшнем дне? Что случилось? Вы можете?
It seems to me that an illegal action, absolutely illegal action, that is a...
Представьте, пожалуйста.
My name is Ryzhov. I am a member of Soviet Parliament, chairman of the Committee of Science and Technologies of Soviet Parliament, and a member of Presidio of Supreme Soviet of USSR.
Расскажите, пожалуйста, что вы думаете по поводу сегодняшней ситуации в стране?
It seems it's an illegal, quite absolutely illegal coup. That is an attempt of well-determined peoples to turn the historical process of liberalization of our country back to the totalitarianism. And it seems to me that this attempt was made just before the signing of как он называется этот договор по-английски? Agreement. Не agreement, союзный. Treaty, да. Union Treaty, of the Union Treaty, which was planned to be signed on 20 August. So, that's all.
My name is Alexander Vladislavlev. I am People Deputy, and I am chairman of Scientific Industrial Group of the People's Deputies. And at the same time, I'm member of the Council of the newly created Movement of Democratic Reforms. My opinion and the opinion of my colleagues from the Council of this movement is that this is absolutely anti-constitutional action. This is illegal coup. This is very serious and very dangerous attempt to turn the country back from the way of democracy, democracy in politics and democracy in economy. And the worst thing that this attempt was done in the moment when the process of reforms was obtaining inertia of movement. But inertia in Russia is the most powerful force. As difficult as to push it, as difficult is to stop it. So my opinion is that all democratic forces of this country should do their best to stop it. Because on the way back, there is no solution of all those problems which are standing before this country on economy and politics. That's it.
Нет, я лучше обойду.
Наташа,
Подожди.
Бригада. Машины не ехали. Все правильно.
«27.7. Конституции СССР вице-президент СССР приступил к временному исполнению обязанностей президента. Я сегодня обращаюсь к вам, дамы и господа, ответственные для судеб Советского Союза и международной обстановки во всем мире момент. Вступив на путь глубоких реформ и пройдя в этом направлении значительный отрезок, Советский Союз сейчас оказался перед глубоким кризисом, дальнейшее развитие которого может поставить под вопрос как сам курс реформ, так и привести к серьезным катаклизмам международной жизни. Для вас, разумеется, не является секретом, что резкое падение производства в стране, невосполняемое пока деятельностью альтернативных промышленных и сельскохозяйственных структур, создают реальную угрозу дальнейшему существованию и развитию народов Советского Союза. В стране возникла обстановка неуправляемости и многовластия.
Under the circumstances, we have no other alternative
but to take resolute action in order to stop the country from sliding down to a disaster. As I am sure you know, in order to provide an effective government under a state of emergency, it has been decided to set up a state committee on the state of emergency in the USSR, which will consist of Mr. Baklanov, first deputy chairman of the USSR Defense Council, Mr. Khrushchev, chairman of the KGB, Mr. Pavlov, Soviet Prime Minister, Mr. Puga, who's Minister of the Interior, Mr. Starodubtsev, Chairman of the USSR Peasants' Council, Mr. Tizyakov, President of the Transport and Communications Association, Mr. Yazov, Soviet Defense Minister, and Gennady Yanayev, acting president of the USSR. Today I would like to say the following. The State Committee on the State of Emergency in the USSR is well aware of the gravest crisis which we're going through, and it is determined to take full responsibility and to adopt urgent measures to get the country out of the crisis. We pledge to ensure a nationwide discussion of the draft Union Treaty, and every citizen of the USSR will have the opportunity to assess this document at his leisure and take a decision which will shape the future of our multinational homeland. We're determined, without further delay, to restore law and order, stop the bloodshed, and to wage a relentless war on the criminal underworld and to root out this social scourge. We will rid our cities of crime and will prevent further pilfering. We stand for genuine democratic reforms, for a consistent reform policy toward a social renewal and economic prosperity, which will enable our country to adopt the place it deserves in the world community of nations. The development, we will emphasize the protection of rights of those individuals who are most disadvantaged, is food and housing. We will mobilize all the forces to meet these most urgent needs of the people. We call upon the peasants, workers, and the working intelligentsia, in other words, all Soviet people, on anyone at all. We want to live in peace and harmony with everyone, but we state that nobody can infringe on our sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity, and any attempt to dictate terms to our country, whoever they come from, will be stopped. Our multinational country has lived for generations in pride for its homeland. We have never been ashamed of our patriotic feelings, and we think it justified that the younger generation be raised in that spirit. To do nothing at this crucial period means to take a grave responsibility for tragic, really unpredictable circumstances. Anyone who wants to live and work in peace, who does not accept bloodshed, who wants to see his homeland in prosperity, must take the only right choice. We call on all genuine patriots, all people of goodwill, to put an end to this turbulent time. We call on all the citizens of the USSR to fulfill their responsibility and to provide the necessary support to the State Emergency Committee in its efforts to get the country out of the crisis. All constructive proposals from individuals and work collectives will be considered with gratitude as a manifestation of patriotism and a desire to re-establish multinational friendship for the revival of our homeland. I thank you.
Where is Mikhail Sergeyevich Gorbachev? What is he sick with? Are the tanks that we see on the streets of Moscow today directed? What is the purpose of those tanks today on the streets? Thank you.
Well, let me say that Mikhail Gorbachev is now on vacation. He's undergoing treatment in the south of our country. He is very tired after these many years, and he will need some time to get better. And it is our hope that Mikhail Gorbachev, as soon as he feels better, will take up again his office. At any rate, the policy that was initiated back in 1985 by Mikhail Gorbachev will be continued by all those present here. So far as the state of emergency is concerned, quite naturally, the state of emergency is introduced, as I have already stated, at a very difficult and crucial time in our history, and in order to rule out any dangers and menaces, we had to take certain steps to ensure security. I have two clear-cut tactics or strategy of implementation of the policy of perestroika. Do you have last night was described as a right-wing anti-constitutional coup d'etat? What do you think about this? And secondly, that your committee will take any specific action against that. Let me start by answering your second question, and I'll ask Comrade Tizikov to answer your first point. It is true that perestroika that was initiated back in 1985 did not bring the results which we all expected from it. Our economy today is undergoing a very difficult time. There is a drop in the rate of production, and this is a result of a convergence of a number of factors. The situation that has developed collapsed. Many of those present here know that at the end of December 1990,